On your journey of healing, somatic healing, and nervous system regulation and recovery from chronic pain, anxiety, or panic, or even if you're just transforming your mind to be more resilient and more peaceful, you're probably going to encounter or work with some therapists. You want to transform, you want to feel better, you usually will hire a therapist or a coach. And I'm here to tell you why traditional therapy is way less effective than the coaching style that I use and the coaches who work with unconscious mind. So before we get into that, I'm Healing Wolf, a professional neuroplastic chronic pain, anxiety, panic, trauma recovery coach. I work with conditions like chronic back pain, migraines, fibromyalgia, obesity, panic attacks, you name it. If unconscious mind is controlling it and making it happen, then I'm able to communicate with unconscious mind to get you in a better place so you're moving forward with your healing journey. So why don't traditional therapies work as well with chronic pain and anxiety and panic? Part of the reason is because these are conscious mind to conscious mind communications. You're sitting in a room with a therapist and your conscious mind is speaking to their conscious mind. You're back and forth with conscious concepts, with very academic concepts, with often a style of reframing. And that's one of the reasons, because when you work with me or another coach that works in the style that I do, which there are very few, you're working in a very creative way, in an invisible way, to communicate directly with unconscious mind. And when I communicate directly with unconscious mind, I'm using a language that's different. I'm using a tempo that's different. I'm using altered states of consciousness and what you might call journeying, what you might call hypnotic communication, to make sure that your unconscious mind gets the message that you're actually okay and that you're in a space where there's nothing actually threatening around, that you're actually in a very, very safe space. And that safety sinks deep into unconscious mind so that the sensations can get lighter and lighter over time. Now, sometimes it happens rapidly. I'm trained in rapid resolution therapy. I'm certified in it. I do lots of trainings in it. I do continuing education and mastery sessions in it. And it's a great modality. I also work with intense mindfulness techniques, such as Vipassana meditation, which I learned in the north of India at a 12-day silent retreat. So traditional therapists, and I hear this all the time, sadly, people will come to me, clients will come to me and say, I worked with my therapist for 10 years, 15 years. I don't know if we really got anywhere. I don't know if we really did anything. And you've got techniques like DBT, you've got CBT, you've got all these techniques which in research have been shown to be less effective in conditions like chronic pain and anxiety. Now, there are some forms of therapy like acceptance and commitment therapy, which are a lot more effective, and pain reprocessing therapy, which are a lot more effective. And so I incorporate those in my coaching as well because they've been shown through rigorous research to be useful. So conscious to conscious. Another thing that's really different about working with a coach that knows how to communicate with unconscious mind is that that coach, myself included, will be doing most of the talking and most of the direction, asking you to do certain things as we move forward, to visualize certain things. You always remain in control. And in fact, your unconscious mind creates some of the imagery, creates some of the visuals, creates some of the sensory input that we use to communicate with it. So it gives us the language, and then we use the language to make sure it stays on track. But I hear a lot of people say, oh, I went to my therapist and I just talked and cried, and my therapist barely spoke at all. And yes, that might be cathartic. It might feel like that connection is really healthy because you haven't been able to talk to people about these things. But one of the reasons why, if you go into a session with a regular therapist and you complain or you talk about what you don't want, you talk about what's wrong in your life, why do you think, just pause a moment, why do you think that wouldn't work? Why do you think that wouldn't work? And I'll tell you why it wouldn't work in a minute. But first, please subscribe to this channel. Please give me a thumbs up, ring the bell. Helps me on my mission to get people out of hell. So why wouldn't it work if you went to a traditional therapist and you started bitching and moaning about everything wrong in your life? Oh, my partner does this, it's terrible. And my boss does this, and my coworkers are idiots. And I have to redo this and redo that. And oh, my pain, I've got pain in my back. And it's like red hot. It's like branding iron just hitting me every day. And my legs hurt and my head hurts. And I feel woozy and I got brain fog. Why do you think that wouldn't work? Because you're focused on it and you're wiring it in. You talk about something for an hour, then your mind is coding it. Your brain is wiring it. If you talk about something instead of complaining and talking about what you don't want, you talk about something that you do want. You can embrace the sensations. That's a somatic approach, which most therapists don't use either. But more effective and more useful is to talk about what you actually want and talk about the power you have and harness that power and release that power in session to fuel your recovery moving forward. That's a very different concept. I don't advocate. I don't let my clients complain. I'm very gentle, as you can probably see from these videos. I'm very compassionate with my clients, but I'm not going to sit there and let them go on and on and on and complain about what's wrong. And I'll gently redirect and say, hey, when you talk about what you don't want, you get more of it. And that is a concept of acceptance and commitment therapy. You accept, you allow, and you move towards what you do want. So when I work with a client, we set an intention and a very vivid one. So your mind knows where we're headed, knows exactly what you want. Most clients come to me, they have no idea they don't know what they want. They say, Wolf, I don't want to be in pain. Unconscious mind often doesn't hear negative, so that unconscious is hearing, I want to be in pain. I don't want to hurt like this. I don't. I say, what do you want? Not what you don't want. I get it that you don't want that. Nobody wants that. But we need to understand that unconscious mind needs direction in the direction of what you do want. So that's how that works. So that's why a lot of traditional therapy just falls short and is a waste of time, money, and energy. And that's why I encourage my clients, if they're going to a therapist, to inform them about the work they're doing with me, so that the therapist won't be sidetracking, won't be nullifying, won't be messing with the beautiful and useful communications that I'm achieving in session with clients. So if you'd like to work with me one-on-one and do some of this deeper work with your unconscious mind, then head to my website, healingwolfcoaching.com. And from there, you can book a free consult call. And in the consult call, as well as asking me any questions that you'd like answered, you can tell me exactly what's been going on with you. You can let it all out, so we won't need to deal with that in your first session. It gives us a jump start, it accelerates the processes, and it gives me the information I need to prepare for your session or sessions. So go ahead and do that when you're ready. I also have a free newsletter, and you get my most powerful somatic meditation emailed to you instantly. So that's pretty cool too. I'd like to hear what you think about it. Drop me a comment and let me know if your therapist and your therapy has been helpful or not, and why. Because I'm always curious about this. I've had therapy myself. It hasn't been helpful. Even on my chronic pain journey, I worked with some more traditional therapists, and I feel like they were actually moved me sideways, and I had to coach them as to how to speak to me And many of them, I just had the one session and decided it wasn't helpful. It was worse than useless, actually. So I've got more videos, and I've got a subscribe link. I'll see you in the next video. I love you. I know you can do this. Keep moving forward and keep your mind in a space where it knows you're going to recover.